Ugh, gross. Not a good day for hiking, guys. Although, it's a great day to do a gear video. Well, hey guys, Max here. So today, we're gonna answer a question which I know you have all been waiting so patiently for an answer to, and that is, what's in my pack? Why do I carry it? I'm sure those are the questions you've all been really wanting answered. Even if they're not, we're gonna answer them anyway because that's what this episode is about, so stay tuned. Hey guys, so let's get into my gear loadout for a day hike. I've been doing a lot of hiking this winter, and that's great because it's given me a lot of opportunities to refine my gear loadout, and I think I got it pretty well settled by this point. Now, I say that this is the loadout I've been using this winter on day hikes. I think that this loadout would work equally well as the basis for any loadout that you're going to bring on a day hike regardless of the season. So that's the first point. The other point I want to make is that this gear loadout for a day hike is probably about 80% of what I would bring on an overnight trip. And that's because the thinking that drives my gear loadout in both situations is, well, they're oriented towards the same goal, that is surviving a night in the woods. On a day hike, it's, you know, like something that isn't planned, staying a night in the woods. On an overnight hike, it is. But at the end of the day, you know, the objective is still the same, survive a night in the woods. So you need to have the gear in order to do that. So let's get into it. So here's my day hiking pack. It's just a Dakine, about a 30-liter pack. I've had it since high school. I thought about upgrading it over the years, and honestly, it works pretty well. So I'm just going to keep on using it until, you know, it falls apart. It's got some nice organization. It's got a little side pouch here for your water bottle. Another little side pouch here. Two side pouches, actually. An outer pouch and an inner pouch with a zipper on it. Got this little pouch up here. I love this thing back here, these straps that go across the backpack. This is great for attaching like a wool blanket or a sleeping bag or a thermarest, you know, the other components of your sleep system. Something I forgot to mention, I have 3 of these little Night Eyes S-beaners, they're called, attached to my pack, and I use them primarily just to attach random items to my pack. This is also a heavy duty clip that I found at Home Depot. Again, this is part of my system for like hooking up my dog, but I could also use this with my Ridgeline system. They're multifunctional gear. I can use these to attach items in my pack, use them for, again, setting up my Ridgeline. Here's my cover. This is my shelter. It's a 10x9 tarp shelter. Love this thing. It's got tie-outs all around its perimeter, and it's got some tie-outs right down the middle of it, so you can hang it, you know, attached to a ridge line. Here, we got stakes and cordage that goes with the tarp. This here is just a cheap water-resistant 5-foot by 7-foot tarp that I bought at Walmart. I use this as an extra ground cloth. Mylar blanket, can use that also as a ground cloth. Can use that as a heat reflector. Here's my quick deploy Ridgeline. This is 100 feet of 550 paracord. I got a bowline tied in one end. I got these soft shackles made out of narrower diameter cord, tied on with Prusik knots. And up here I got a cam jam for ratcheting it around a tree. Basically the philosophy here is no knots. I want to set this thing up quick, and that's why I have the cam jam on here, and so I don't have to tie any knots. And then we got some random cordage, little tarp bungees. The idea is you thread the looped end around something and then back through the grommets on your tarp and put them around these little balls here. I don't necessarily need these, but I figure I can use these to tie the connect the tie outs on my tarp to a ridge line, if I wanted some extra support. Another important part of cover is your clothes. So I bring along a change of long underwear and socks. I don't have the bottoms with me. All my bottoms are in the wash. I usually store the clothes in this bag. This is a waterproof Army surplus clothing bag. I got some other items on here, as you can see. We got some baby wipes, or hand wipes rather. In this dry bag, I got a couple of packs of ramen. I got some beef jerky. I got some nuts. And I got some packets of hot chocolate and tea. All right, so we talked about cover. Let's talk about containers for a minute. Water purification stuff. So we got insulated water bottle. It's insulated, so I keep that on the outside of my pack. This is a really good water bottle. This thing will not freeze. This, the other end of the spectrum, is a stainless steel water bottle, roughly about the same capacity, 32 ounces. I think it's actually a little over 32 ounces. And I got that so I can have a water bottle that I can put directly in the fire to boil water, either for cooking or for water purification. I love this thing because it's got a handle right on top of it, so you can attach it to some kind of like a stick or other improvised pot holder and just suspend it over the fire like that. I don't want to put this in the fire because the heat, one, it's vacuum insulated so that the heat isn't gonna transfer to the water easily. And also I've heard that if you try to boil water in this, if you put this directly in the fire, you can damage it. So we don't want to do that. This is a little $5 stainless steel cup that I found at Walmart. It's 24 ounces. So this is good for collecting water, again, boiling water. I figure I can also put, ramen in here and boil it up. And it's not necessarily designed to nest in the steel, with a stainless steel water bottle, but it kind of does. So that's nice. You can collapse that down. This here is a life straw. I'm a big fan of redundancy. As I've heard, one is none, two is one, that kind of thing. My thinking here is like, if I can't boil water, use a life straw. If I can't use a life straw for whatever reason, boil water. So up here, got cutting tools. In here, got a nice Leatherman multi-tool. And then as a backup, I'm sorry, Gerber, not Leatherman. These two are set. And then my little Gerber knife right here. And over here, we got my combustion tools, my fire kit. In here, I have waterproof matches container. The matches themselves, I don't think are waterproof, but this container is. 2 Bic type lighters, a candle, and then in here we have dryer lint and a little bit of toilet paper, and I also want to add some cotton balls soaked in Vaseline. Okay, so we've covered the 5 C's. Let's talk about some other items that I have here. Here we've got first aid kit, toe warmers, hand warmers, bandana. There's all kinds of uses for this thing. You can use it as a signaling device. You can use it to, as a bandage if need to. You can use it to hold things together. There's a lot of different uses for a bandana. And then here, I just got some random pills. Got some ibuprofen and some Tums because I find like those are the 2 things that I need the most often because my stomach seems to be upset by everything, and having a headache really sucks, and it's likely to happen if you're dehydrated and so forth. Well, here it is. It's a flashlight. It can do strobe pattern. It can stay constant. It's a really nice little flashlight. It also has this like lantern function here. Compasses. Again, I'm a big believer in redundancy, so I carry 2 compasses. This is my old Boy Scout compass. It's really meant for orienteering. It's got a little like transparent plank that the compass sits in. You can adjust the compass to, adjust for magnetic north and all that. And this is just a random little compass that I don't even know where I picked this up, but I have it, so I bring it with me. It doesn't take up a lot of space. Okay, and then all this stuff is sitting on my wool blanket. This is I actually don't know how big it is. I'm gonna say it's at least 5x7. This is a pretty good sized blanket. I think it's a queen size blanket. It's 100% wool. I got it from Swisslink, which is a great military surplus website. I like wool blankets because they're unlike a sleeping bag. They have a lot of different uses. You know, you don't necessarily have to get in them in order to become warm. You can just wrap one around yourself. It's a little bit easier to use. It's also fire resistant. So, you know, if you get an ember or something on it, it won't melt it. It might burn a little bit, but it's not necessarily going to melt them. This is my little homemade carrying system for the wool blanket. It's just a piece of rope with a couple of Canadian jam knots tied in it. Some other random things that I often carry with me: a pair of insulated work gloves. Sometimes I also carry this hatchet. It's kind of heavy, so while I carried this in my pack a lot at the beginning of the winter, I've left it at home because I feel like it's kind of redundant. So this is my base kit. It's what's always in my pack. I add to it by including additional insulating layers, and then other warmth items like a balaclava or a neck gaiter, maybe an extra pair of gloves, things like that. I also make sure to leave some extra space in my pack so that if I get too warm, I can take off a layer and store it in here. Hey guys, so thanks for watching. Hope that maybe you gained some insight from seeing my gear loadout. Maybe that'll help you plan for going for a hike in the woods and surviving in the woods a little better. But thanks for watching.